A look at the outlook for markets into next year. Let's welcome in our next guest. We've got Tom Hayes, Chairman and Managing Member at Great Hill Capital, joining us. Tom, it is so good to see you.
Great to be here, Diane.
Okay, so let's talk, before we get into outlook for next year, let's talk a little bit about December. Is seasonality on the side of the bulls?
It tends to be. We've got now a 90% chance of a Fed cut. If we don't get that cut for some crazy reason, then I'd be worried. Other than that, I think liquidity's there. Quantitative tightening is over, which means potentially quantitative easing could be coming in, certainly more liquidity. We had 316 global central bank cuts in 2025. So it's hard to fight that amount of liquidity. And then you've got earnings growth for 2026, pretty well set, double-digit earnings growth. Hard to get bearish, but you can have some pockets of surprises, and I think that's why you want to be selective.
Okay, so you want to be selective. What does that mean?
Well, if we look at the midterm election years historically, it tends to be the worst year of the presidential cycle. On average, up 2.4% for the S&P. On average, drawdown of 17.3%. So that doesn't sound too good. However, I think we're going to get a little bit of relief this time, and that's because historically you get a 20% correction every 3.5 years since 2028. We've had since
2018.
1928.
1928. Okay, I was like 2028. We're not there yet. We're in crystal ball territory.
My flight got in at 1 a.m.
I know. Okay, since 1928. Go ahead.
So we've had average every 3.5 years. We've had 3 of those in the last 5 years. I think we've pulled forward a lot of that 10 years worth of 20% correction. So would it be normal to get 10% correction? Sure, we get one every 13 months. I do think while the S&P underperforms in those midterm election years, what outperforms?
What?
Is what's been the most dramatic underperformer in recent years, which is healthcare. While the S&P does 2.4%, it does 9% in a midterm election year, is healthcare. So we want to look there, and we also want to look defensives because the dividend payers are what's going to start to work in a defensive environment and in a central bank easing environment.
So let's dive into it for healthcare. I'm not surprised to hear you say healthcare, and I can see it as a basket. But there's one that you like, and this does surprise me.
Yeah.
That's Pfizer. I'll give it away. Because, listen, Pfizer hasn't performed in years, even during COVID times. Yes, it performed well, but not as well as at the time. This is obviously a different cycle now, but like Moderna. And so at the time, that was obviously about vaccines. Pfizer doesn't have a weight loss drug contender to compete with, Eli Lilly. I'm putting Novo, but even though Novo has strengthened, it's not strengthened the share price.
Yes.
So what is it about Pfizer that you like?
Number one, they just did the Metsera deal for $10 billion, which has a monthly GLP-1, so you don't have to do it every week or whatever is the normal case. They also have the possibility of an oral GLP-1, and if they're the ones to do it, it is game over, lights out. Now, that's all speculative. We're not worried about that. That's just the cherry on the sundae. What are we talking about here? Seagen, 4 new oncology drugs. They've cut a tremendous amount of costs. People are worried about the patent cliff for Eliquis and some of the other drugs. They've taken $7.2 billion of costs out of the business. They're paying a dividend of 7% while you wait. It's trading at 8 times forward earnings, and guess what's been happening in the last couple of years?
Cheap.
It's cheap, and margins are re-accelerating. Growth is re-accelerating. So people looked at this. The great thing about COVID is they built up a lot of cash to do deals like Seagen, like Metsera. They're back in the game. Borla, I could take them or leave them. Warren Buffett once said, buy a business that's so good a ham sandwich could run it, because one day a ham sandwich will run it. Look, he got us the vaccine during COVID, so I give him credit for that. But to your point, it's been a sleeper
for a long time.
Yeah, but there's that's when activists show up. That's when things get shaken up. That's why he's been doing the cost cuts. That's why he's been doing the deals. They've got the urgency on it, and it's reaccelerating. So I think he can even pull it off. And on that basis, we'll collect the 7% dividend till those weight loss drugs kick in 2028, the oncology drugs kick in, the cost cuts kick in, the buybacks kick in, and I collect 7%.
We'll keep revisiting this one because you have been right on some that I've, and that's why I'm listening, because there have been some I'm like, okay, you were right on that one.
Yeah.
Let's talk. You also like Papa John's, right?
Papa John's, baby. This is a new one. People are going to go crazy for this. So, consumer discretionary. Managers cut it by the most in history. That sector, people are down on the consumer. Consumer sentiment is low. I'm telling you, the consumer is doing well. They've got a new CEO that was from Wendy's. He ran Wendy's when Nelson Peltz was turning around the company. Three-bagger during his tenure from 2016 to 2024. They are refranchising 85 units in the UK that were company-owned, getting rid of all the company-owned. That doesn't work. They're a CapEx light business because it's all franchising fees. Better ingredients, comp store sales.
You sound like their commercial. Better ingredients, better pizza.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Listen, comp store sales up 2%. And by the way, you get a 4.5% dividend yield while you wait. Why am I so keen on the dividend? Because in a dividend payers as a whole and defensives are the most undervalued that they've been in 25 years. As rates recompress, all that money, $7 trillion in money markets, is going to be forced into the market. What are they looking for? They're looking for yield. Your downside is protected with these inexpensive stocks. Your upside is meaningful. You get paid while you wait, and I love a good turnaround story, as you know.
You do. I'm more convinced on Pfizer. I'm going to do this from the sidelines.
Let me tell you, we sent out almost 100 gift cards to our clients. Every year we send them something from one of our portfolio holdings. All these wealthy guys and gals are eating Papa John's for the holidays. Last year I sent them Vans shoes for VF Corp.
Okay.
And it's going to be a good year for Papa John's. And what happens if you do get those tariff dividend checks, if the Supreme Court votes against tariffs and he pays that out? Where does all that go? It goes straight into consumer discretionary. They're going to be buying Vans from Bracken Darrell over at VF Corp. They're going to be buying Papa John's like it's going out of business.
All right, we'll have to we'll have to bookmark our conversation for time.
All right.
Tom, I always enjoy talking to you.
Thank you.
Of
Thank
course.
You. This is wonderful, Diane.
Yes, I love it. That's Tom Hayes, managing member at Gray Hill Capital and chairman over there.